So I'm very surprised to see Tottenham get these two deals done like split of a day. Also, still don't know if Marcus White deal is completely done. I got the news like a few hours ago that Nottingham Forest gonna sue Tottenham or like something regarding the release clause. I really don't care. It's just crying. If transfer, I'm gonna take into account. I'm gonna assume it's going to be a done deal. If not, let's just take this like a what if video. You could see like a few years from now on, and imagine what would be Marcus White to Spurs. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't care. I'm gonna make this video. So I think we came to this summer knowing that Spurs need to do something, right? Also in the Europa League against a really bad United team, but domestically they were 17th in the league, which I think maybe one of the worst seasons ever domestically, if not the worst. So they had to come in this summer and do something about it. Obviously, I think like the main reason why Spurs failed so much domestically and just overall was the injuries. Like Van de Ven, Romero, the two center backs, and at the time like their two only good center backs were injured. Like a lot of injuries as well. Like I thought that was the main reason. But they still need to go on this summer and try to bring new faces into the squad. And particularly, I said this after the Europa League final. My opinion was that they should sack Angie and bring a new manager. My question in that time was which manager should they bring in? Because at the time there were only like a lot available. But you're asking Thomas Frank, a guy I didn't think was even available to bring in other Brentford. But they did, and in my opinion, it's like an amazing decision. Replacing Ange with Thomas Frank is a big upgrade. Also, I like Ange as a manager. I think I'll be screwed over with the injuries. I think Thomas Frank is still the far superior manager, and he's done an amazing job at Brentford as well. So I'm looking forward to see him at Spurs. Also, we've seen kind of signings fail sometimes. Like the one I remember the most is Graham Potter to Chelsea from Brighton. I think really missed there. I think even at West Ham, not really doing the best there. But still, I really want to see what Thomas Frank's going to do at Spurs, because I think we turned that team into from 17th place finish to I expect from them at least like a top 10, at the very least a top 10 finish in the league. Obviously, apart from bringing a new manager, also bringing Dell and Downs on permanent signings, I really like that. Marcel was a guy that I always liked, even at Bayern, and he had a lot of potential in him. And if he actually fulfills that potential, he'll be an amazing player for Spurs. Even Kenneth Alonso is a guy that actually, for now, gives some reliable depth at centre back, which is still an issue at the moment that can still be worked on. They also brought in a young guy from Korea. I'm pretty sure it's Korea. I might be mistaken if I am. I'm sorry. But as at the back, a pretty young guy. I don't know if he'd be in the first team squad, if he'd be loaned out to some club like Vuskovic did. I don't know. But nevertheless, I think it's a pretty good signing. But now, obviously, in terms of bringing in players, kind of be silenced, kind of add like those Miyamo and Winsor rumors at the beginning of the summer when Thomas Frank joined. But now, like, the space of a day, bringing Kudus and Gibbs White is amazing. Kudus, I think, was really out of place at West Ham. I think is way too good for West Ham. And bringing him in is an amazing signing. Also, Gibbs White had an amazing season at Nottingham Forest. Forest qualified for Europe and an amazing season just throughout the whole year. I think like a bit towards the end of the season kind of fell off a bit, and that's why I think they got top 6 or top 4. But still, they had an amazing season. Gibbs White was one of the main reasons why they had an amazing season. And for them to bring in those two guys on, I think a little bit over like £100 million, if everything like correct with the fees Risk Manu said, like a little over £100 million for both of them. Especially considering like Miyam's going for £70 million, like Jokic going for £70 million plus some bonuses. But Wacky even, I think that's the prime example. I like it's going to Arsenal for like £50 million. To get Gibbs White and Kudus on those deals for me is amazing in a sporting term and also in the financial term. So I'm really like what Spurs did with both of them and bringing them in. Obviously, if you look at the squad, I should try to do a video like some rebuilds with Spurs, and I scrapped because my targets for then like bought by other teams. I thought like the Spurs where Spurs should strengthen the most with their front line. Like defensively, they got like starting back four amazing, like Odogi, Van de Ven, Romero. That's a very good back four. In midfield, they have a variety of guys there. They have Bergwald, they have Mante Sarbi, so a lot of guys there. And then front line, you have Brennan Shaw, so actually had a pretty good season. You have Kulusevski, who got injured and he played midfield sometimes last year. You have Solanke, that's pretty much it. Like Son getting older, Richarlison not playing as the same as he is. Marcel is pretty young. Like same thing to Mikey Moore. So I think the four line was where you can see a lot of potential for them to invest. I thought Rodriguez as they will go to Spurs because like it will be linked there. But instead, Arsenal kind of moved towards him. I think Spurs kind of gave up on that. And I think Marcus White and Kudus, which for me are two missing signings. Again, as I say, looking at the squad, you have James Madison there. You kind of see him alongside Marcus White and Kudus. I think you can kind of be more skeptical about that fit because those are kind of three guys that you think can be comparable, like kind of similar players. I don't think that's the case. I mean, Kudus in his particular example to Gibbs White and Madison, Kudus is an amazing versatile player. He played like as a striker at West Ham, like a striker, played at number 10, played at left wing back. He played as striker, played at number 10, he played at left winger, played at right winger, he played in all sorts of positions in the front forward. I think that's really gonna be a great for Tottenham, gain that versatility. And for now, I think this position into squad really is dragged back up to Kulusevski, like competitor for both Kulusevski and whoever can be at number 10 spot or at left wing. Kudus is left or the right wing. I would love to see him there. And I mean, I don't know if Kulusevski is going to return from injury anytime soon, or if he's already returned, or it's like be a few months before he comes back. I think Kudus will get a lot of playing time. I think lots of playing time at Spurs. In what position he wants to play. In a striker, he might get some games in a striker as well. And then Morgan White and Madison are two guys which are kind of a bit more like separate from Kudus. I think both those guys are really good at like number 10 positions. But I can see very much, especially Morgan White play at left wing, and you can see James Madison play at number 10 mostly. So you kind of see all those three guys play together at some point with Gibbs White on the left, Kudus on the right, and Madison in the middle. Actually, looking at Thomas Frank's situation at Brentford, now he played Brentford during his time there. Obviously, at the beginning of his time at Brentford, played kind of that to back formation. He kind of diverted from that towards in the last few years. Last year, I think, 2003, he played more of like a 4-3-3. And now this season, he played a 4-2-1, I think, has done really well at Brentford and kind of got the best out of Wissa and Myomo after Tony left. She's had an amazing seasons, and like Myomo's going to get snapped up by Man United. I thought something about doing with Issa. I think it's going to renew. I don't know about that, but Wissa is going to do something. So if he kind of goes over that with Tottenham, I think it's the best because they don't have the depth enough to play a trade back system. They don't have the depth enough to play that. Even though Porro, I like to see Porro play again in the back formation like he did Sporting. But again, I think that for the back formation is really the best for Tottenham. And given how much players they have in midfield, obviously, like even with Marcus White playing in midfield number 10, they have guys there who can also cover for that spot. And even like Bissouma, Bentancur, Bergval, Archie Gray, a lot of guys available in midfield. They're also going to benefit a lot from playing double pivots and even be able to play with number 10 in front of them or even play at number 10 spot. I think that 4-2-1 just really helps a lot of the squad just overall and going to get them to play better than the 4-3 that Alex Lowe was playing at Spurs. Like we saw a lot of times, especially in the first half of the season, we saw Madsen and Kulusevski play a lot together in the midfield, obviously with them both getting separate injuries. We kind of stopped seeing that. But both of them actually played a lot of times in midfield together. And I don't think that was the best for Spurs in terms of like just playing well together. So I think that this 4-2 transformation is going to be great. Also, ringing Kudus and Gibbs White, both guys probably would play on the wing or could play on the wing. Seeing like they're like Brendan Johnson, actually had a pretty good season, as I said, Mikey Moore, Richarlison, Dell. I don't think they're really gonna like in fact affect them a lot because a lot of those guys can play a striker as well. Like Matthew can play a striker, Richarlison can play a striker, Emerson can play a striker. You can see like Richarlison a deal going to be done for him to leave Spurs because I don't think really that good. And I think the guy who's going to be most affected by is Brendan Johnson, because Kulusevski's probably going to come back and steal the starting spot. Kudus should probably get ahead of him in the backing order for the right wing spot. I don't know if he can play like at the left wing or can play at number 9. I think that's actually a better case for him because he probably gets a lot of minutes there. Even if he doesn't, I think this is kind of I very much can see this season become like a purple patch season for him because a lot of goals he scored, like really the back post goals, like tap-ins mostly, and he didn't really contribute a lot apart from that. So I kind of see Johnson get a lot of his minutes get down by the incomings of Marcus White and Kudus. But again, I suppose because I actually maybe on my United talking about this, like they had community somewhere, making some moves, making some signings, and they haven't done that so far. They haven't. And if you take that approach and compare it to Spurs' approach now, especially like middle of July, when you kind of get those done, because in August you have pre-season, are gonna get back. Like normally, I think they're gonna come back like early to mid August. So you're gonna have to get a big grasp of what the squad look like next season to be at the time of like maybe late July, early August. And United, it's only working Matheus Cunha so far, and to still have been able to get a deal done over Brian Milne, which I think has been prolonged like 3 weeks already. So the difference of approach from both United and Spurs, I mean, is both coming off really bad seasons domestically. I wish that speaks a lot about how Spurs are doing so well this summer. I think I said a lot of shows on Twitter and on TikTok about this. Like Daniel Levy, I think he's always a guy who didn't want to spend money, and to see Tottenham actually kind of spend a lot of money this summer will be refreshing. And I think artists together they can add to press the emergency button, that big red emergency button, they have to press it, and it's actually spent the big bucks to make a great squad for Thomas Frank. So I'm very excited to see all Tottenham will do this summer. I actually said this also last year as well on the reels. I actually really liked what Tottenham did in the summer in terms of signings last summer, and we saw what happens this year. Also finished 17th. But I'm coming up again and saying again that I really liked what Tottenham has done this transfer markets. Just not bringing in like young guys like they did like last year, Val, like bringing in young guys at the same time, bringing in guys who offered to take your front line to a whole new level in terms of quality, in terms of versatility of Thomas Frank as well. If he wants to play different formations or different frontline scenarios, like. So I'm really be excited to see what Spurs will do. Also, we see a lot of teams strengthening themselves. Like Chelsea, they're pretty sure strengthening themselves. I think they do so as the window, and in my opinion, they do so a lot and way too much. Until summer, they still getting some great players to get themselves in a better position. See Arsenal also improve them. Brought him Madueke. I don't know. I'm probably going to talk about that in another video. Like Liverpool as well, City as well. So the rest of the I think the only top 6 team who hasn't yet who hasn't yet like taken a jump in improving its team quality is United. After I know like they're kind of skeptical because of their finances and everything else, but coming off like a very bad season, like their worst ever season in the league, and being the only top six team to not have done anything big enough in terms of bringing in players, I think it really is disappointing. And I mean, it's just disappointing and really bad for United. I'm really shameful by United. We'll see. I mean, I like what Spurs is doing so far. I think maybe a new midfielder could probably be brought in. I think some sales also should be on the order. I think there's some guys there who don't really have to spot the squad. So I also like to see who they sell and who they don't. And honestly, like I'm really optimistic to see all Spurs will do next season. I think, in my opinion, at least I expect a top 10 finish, which, to be fair, is kind of a big upgrade from this year, especially considering they still got yourself football to kind of take into account. So, I mean, I think at least I expect Tottenham to get a top 10 finish. Otherwise, it's going to be a big failure, and you're going to see West failed this season, apart from maybe some injury problems as well for them.